And you know, the Cubans were coming to New York, and some of them were staying, and the Puerto Ricans were playing. So naturally, they you know, they'd get together and play in bands, and the Cubans would add this flavor, and the Puerto Ricans learned that flavor. So there was a cultural interchange, and all that led to what today's music is. It's I don't want to put a terminology on it. You know, that's just a commercial thing, but it's just good music. That's all. And Arsenio's was the best. And we've been honoring Arsenio's birthday. When it was his 100th birthday, we threw a concert and we put together a Grupo Folclórico Experimental Nueva Yorkino, and we presented a concert at Hostos Community College, playing the music of Arsenio Rodríguez as he wrote it. And it was recorded. Eventually it'll be coming out. But I was very happy with just being involved in that project, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is long overdue, and I'm glad somebody's doing it now.
You playing with me tomorrow? Yes, sir.
Before we go on with our next speaker, I just want to point out there's a few people here. Today we're honoring our past, we're honoring the legacy of Arsenio Rodríguez. But there's a bunch of people here who are taking that forward and are bringing our culture and our legacy forward of the music and culture. We have a bunch of people who work actively to promote the arts and culture in this community. We have over here Mr. Bill Aguado, founder of the Bronx Arts Council, and has so much to do with the Longwood Arts Project and so many projects in this community. We have Aviva Davidson from Dancing in the Streets. Chris Nieves from the Bronx Music Heritage Center. Mr. Jose Encarnacion, educator. And also I want to point out, there's a bunch of musicians here. We're honoring musicians in the...
Eddie Montalvo from the Bronx also. Another person that is continuing the legacy of Arsenio Rodríguez, a master of not only the Cuban tres, but the Puerto Rican cuatro, and a fantastic jazz guitarist, an educator. He's an ethnomusicologist teaching at Baruch, and he has many albums under his own name. And just again, to show you how we're so inviting and loving in the Bronx, he's from Brooklyn. But how about it from Dr. Ben Lapidus right there? And a great conguero and bongocero. Occasionally you see him subbing in Manny Oquendo's Libre, and with other great bands, Wayne Corbea and others. How about it for Mr. Juan Gonzalez over there? Rodriguez, right. I'm thinking about Juan Gonzalez, the guy from the Daily News that was supposed to be here, but he's not here. And also we have a, sorry about that, Juan. Hold on one second. This will help me.
That's Scotch?
And we have a great author here. His book on Cuban music is the definitive Bible in terms of the history of the music, going all the way back to pre-Spain and the Visigoths and the Greco-Romans. And anything you wanted to know about Cuban music, but we're afraid to ask. Well, this man in his book, incredible book, Cuba, it's about Cubas and its music from the first drums to the mambo, and his books on New Orleans history, and he's got another book he's working on right now. You can talk to him about it later, but I encourage all of you to check out his incredible work. Mr. Ned Sablé. And we also have our great flautist, who works with Eddie Palmieri's group and many other great groups here in New York City, Miss Karen Joseph over there. Who else? I know I'm missing somebody. I'm looking around. All right. And this gentleman, we're going to have him speak in a little bit, since everybody recognizes that he's here, we're going to acknowledge him right now. This man was the musical director at one time of the great Benny Morés Orchestra, and he's one of the icons of the trumpet, la trompeta criolla de Cuba. He's one of the people that trumpet players always transcribe, study, and follow, along with Flores, the great Floresita. How about it for the one, the only, Alfredo Chocolate Armenteros.
Vaya Choco. Vaya Choco. The Choco Man. Choco Man. Oye, bueno llegar a viejo. Pero no pellejo.
Okay, back to the proceedings.
Okay, so our next, we're going to be doing the unveiling really soon, but our next speakers, we're going to have some family here. There are, some of Arsenio's family is here right in the Bronx, and Kike, his brother Kike, who you've seen all the photos, always accompanied, Arsenio was always accompanied by his brothers, and Kike was a percussionist who was always with him, and many of the percussionists I know, we had stories from Ray Barretto who would talk about learning, going over and learning some drums with Kike and sitting in, so it was also very much a part of the musical legacy and history of this neighborhood. So we have Kike's daughter, Arsenio's niece, Miss Ziamaro Travieso, and her son Lázaro Travieso Martinez, who is himself keeping on that history and is a hip-hop artist, the Top Don.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank God, and I have to thank the people that are here that made this happen. I was raised with my uncle Arsenio. He gave me my name. When we lived on Kelly Street, he would get up at any time of the night, and he named me Buluclita. Buluclita, give me my tre, give me my amplifier. Any time of night, he would start writing. And my dad would play the drums. I'm a little nervous, so you gotta excuse me, But I really, really thank everyone, and God bless you.
Hi, how you doing, everybody? My name is Lázaro Travieso Martinez. I'm Arsenio's nephew, and I just want to tell everybody thank you. This is great in the family history. I'm thankful for everyone being here, and just happy to be able to say, you know what, that his legend will continue and keep on. I plan to keep on the legacy in the family and keep the music going, and let's just keep it up. Thank you, everybody, and God bless.
Okay, everyone.
A la una, a las dos y a las tres. ¡Que viva Arsenio Rodríguez!
No tiene fuerza, Choco. No tiene fuerza, Choco. Si mira, era no soy yo. Dale.
No se preocupe, ese es Arsenio riéndose.
As we wait for the ladder that someone's coming with, let's go to our next speaker. We have a few more speakers, and by the time they're finished, we'll have it completely uncovered. So our next speaker is actually someone who's been very instrumental in the original, the whole project for Arsenio, getting him recognized, getting when Larry and Ralph and everyone were trying to get a gravestone at the cemetery, and Aurora's been a part of this project as well from the beginning. Please welcome Aurora Flores from Aurora Flores Communications and band leader.
As we were coming over here, I almost felt like we were in a surreal dream. It's so historic that this is happening. It's almost unbelievable. When I was starting out in Latin music, I first heard of Arsenio through Larry Harlow, through the Arsenio tribute. And then it was Cortijo and Ismael Rivera who spoke to me about Arsenio. He was the architect the architect of the modern son, Arsenio Rodríguez. But more important than that, Arsenio Rodríguez, as Elena said before, is buried in the same cemetery as Malcolm X. And like Malcolm X, he was a nationalist. So he didn't believe in borders around the music. And now we're going to unveil, they're going to unveil it for real, so that you can see the full name of what we're trying to do here. Y como estaba diciendo, Arsenio fue el arquitecto del son moderno, the architect of the modern son and what we have today. And when Arsenio was here in New York, and Cortijo y su combo were at the Palladium in 1957, it was Arsenio who came to meet them. And Arsenio who wrote a bomba, una bomba puertorriqueña for Cortijo to make into a hit. And he did. Then it was Arsenio who saw a young Dominican singer, Santiago Cerrón, singing, and told his brother Quique, ese negrito puede cantar. And his brother Quique came up to him, and Arsenio was going to teach him how to be a sonero. And Santiago Cerrón told me in this interview, he told Arsenio, pero Arsenio, I'm not Cuban, I'm Dominican. And Arsenio looked at him and said, tú eres Congo, tú eres negrito. This is the music of the black people, of the people from the poor communities. You can't put borders around here. Tú eres sonero. And he made him a sonero. And that's what Arsenio was about, not putting borders around the music. The music, when it becomes popular, has no nationality. It belongs to the world. It belongs to everyone. Like Arsenio belonged to everyone. Like our music belongs to the world. And right here, if you look around, we have what Arsenio was talking about. We have a rainbow of many colors, many nationalities, many races. And we're all together today on this historic day to pay tribute to this great man who went into his Congolese DNA roots to make music that is still popular and still wonderful today. The music that is part of our culture. The music that teaches us about tolerance, that teaches us about pain, and teaches us about joy. That was Arsenio Rodríguez. I'm Aurora. On June 16th, Father's Day, join us. We're going to be celebrating with Chocolate, his 85th birthday, over in Central Park. We're going to play the music of Arsenio. We're going to have a great time. The legacy continues in Chocolate, Larry Harlow, Bobby Sanabria, and all the young musicians who are out there that make this music live. Yes, yes.
Primeramente, saludos a todos en general. Mi nombre es, como dijo ya el maestro Bobby Sanabria, el nombre es Cándido Camero Guerra. Camero por mi papá, Guerra por mi mamá. Tengo que darle crédito a ellos, porque sin ellos no Cándido. Muchas gracias a todos, me siento muy feliz, orgulloso y contento de este gran merecido homenaje a quien se lo merece como persona y como autor y compositor, Arsenio Rodríguez. Que Dios lo tenga en la gloria y que en paz descanse. Muchas gracias, que Dios lo bendiga.
How about it for Maestro Candido? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is a living National Endowment of the Jazz Master. That's the highest award a jazz musician can get in this country. It's amazing. And before we go on, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge this person. You know, this person, those websites that are auctioning off like 78s that are very valuable. This man is usually there. You know, like like white on rice, trying to like outbid somebody for a rare recording. So how about a big round of applause? It's great that he's here with us. He's always been part of our community, even though many of you don't know that. How about it for the great Matt Dillon, who's right there. And now, it's my great pleasure to introduce Elena again, and she will introduce the final speaker.
So we arrived. We're at the very last speaker for today to close out the ceremony. And this person's actually, for today's event, aside from Arsenio, who we're honoring, is the most important person. You know, I work in the arts. A lot of us here work in the arts. Sandra, Sarah, Elaine, Aviva, we all work in the arts, but we get money. We write grants and get money to do the work that we do, to keep going. This person, Ralph here, did all this work to honor Arsenio, to make sure that his name was remembered, to make sure that he had a gravestone at the cemetery, to make sure that his family was brought over from Cuba, to help the filmmakers come over from Cuba and help them here, to get the family together here, to get this ceremony going to council meetings, writing letters constantly, calling up people. He did that without any grants, without, you know, looking for any sort of reward that way, and he made this happen. So, I want to please welcome to the podium the person who put this all together, Mr. Ralph Méndez.
First thing I want to say, I just want to give thanks to the councilman, Carmen Arroyo, who was able to sponsor the bill, Rafael Salamanca, who's the district manager for the community board, and the community board 2, which were the organization that helped approve it. It started on the grassroots level, it started at the community level, and from there we went on to the city council level, and we got it done. I'd like to thank Casita Maria, Calderón. The difficulty that this man went through in the 1950s. He came here black and blind, in a predominantly Puerto Rican neighborhood and Black American. Puerto Ricans, we say pana, Cubans say chico. Okay, so even though he spoke Spanish, he spoke a little different Spanish. So he had a lot of obstacles to do. They were constantly moving around. Musicians always moving around, one step in front of the marshal, okay? This is life. He played here, and the importance of this park was when I plotted everything on a pin board with pins, it was uncanny. Everything intersected here. He lived over here on Kelly. He lived on 163rd. He lived on a stone's throw away on Westchester. He played over here at the Tropicana. He played over here at the Hunts Point Palace. He played all over here. He played at Club Cubano right over here in Panamericano. I'm happy that, and I take pride as a Puerto Rican, that we recognize the gifts of other countries, and we accept other people's culture and music, and we put our own little spin on it. And I'm very happy for that, and very proud that this community especially, it may be economically may be low, but it's so full of culture and music, and we're very happy about that. And in my closing words, I just want to say, let us continue enriching our lives with culture, but let's not forget to enrich the artists by digging deep in our own pockets and spend our own money on concerts, recitals, and providing performance spaces, because that's really what it's about. When our artists die, what we do, this is for us, to make us feel better. But when they were struggling, that's when they needed. So we can build a cold memorial afterwards and it feels nice, but let's give it to them like Mike wrote in his song, que se lo den en vida. So with that, I thank you for coming, thanks for your support, and God bless everyone.
Latino.